Hi girls, how are you? I wish that you are fine. Today we will study Unit 10, which is talking about people and numbers. Our lesson today is Lesson 2, How We Spend Our Time. By the end of the lesson, you will be able to read and understand an article about the results of a survey, use fractions and percentages interchangeable in everyday conversation. Describe how much time they spend doing things in a typical day. Let's start. I want you now to look at this pie chart and tell me what is it talking about? Yes, exactly. Favorite type of movie. Which type of movie do you think most people like to watch? Yes, romance. 30%. 30% of people like watching romance movies. And which one do you think, which type of movie the least of people like to watch? Yes, it's a drama. 5% of people like least to watch a drama movie. Let's move on. I need you now to open your activity book, page 140, exercise 3. Here, you have to write these fractions and percentages in words to show how you would say them. Here in number 1, you have a percentage. It's a number. And we need to change this number from symbols to words like that. So it will be 25% for number 1. For number 2, it's not a percentage, it's a fraction because we have number is divided by another number, up and down. You have 1 at up and 3 down. So how can we say this fraction in words? Yes, exactly. A third. A for 1 and third for 3. Yes. Number 3, it's a percentage. How can we say this one? Exactly. 60%. Number 4 is a fraction. 4 up, 5 down. How can we say it? 4 fifths. Yes, fifths here end with S. Why S? Because I'm talking about 4. Plural. That's why I put S at the end of the fifth. Number 5, it's another fraction. 2 up, 3 down. How can we say it? 2/3, yes. Here, thirds, I write also S for plural, 2. That's why I said thirds. But have a look to number 2. It's 1/3, singular. That's why I said a third or 1/3 for number 2. But number 5, you have 2/3. Number 6, it's a percentage. 95%. Well done, gals. 7, another fraction, up and down. A number is divided by another number. It's 3, yes, up. 4, we call it quarter. 3/4. The last fraction, number 8, 1 up, 10 down. singular. That's why we are going to say a tenth or 1/10. Both are correct. Well done, guys. Let's move on. Today we are going to study these new words for our lesson. Interview, interviewee, interviewer, sewing, baking, survey. Interview, interviewee, interviewer, sewing, baking, survey. Let's have a look to picture 1. What can you see here? Yes, 2 people are sitting together, talking, discussing. Maybe one is asking, the other one is answering. One asks and one answers. So that's we call it, it's a, or this man interviews the other man. So the first picture here tells us about interview. This is a verb. To interview someone, it means to ask someone some questions. So interview is a verb, means to ask someone. This man, we call him interviewer with ER, interviewer. Why? Because he asks questions. It's a noun, a man who asks questions. A man or a person who asks questions. That's why we call this person an interviewer. Interviewer with ER, ends with ER. Let's have a look to the first picture again. I said one asks and one answers. The person who answers the questions, we call them interviewee. Interviewee, it's also a noun and it means a person who answers questions. So let's have a look again. Interview, it's a verb, to ask questions. Interviewee, it's a noun, a man who answers the question. Interviewer, it's also a noun. It means the man who asks questions, like this one in the picture. Here I have another one. You have a scissor, thread, and a needle. You can use these things to make a new dress, a t-shirt, to fix something. So that's why we call it sewing. Here, what do you think this man is doing? Yes, maybe he is making a cake, cupcake, some sweets, biscuits. So that's why we call this man is baking. Baking means making a cake or cupcake or something like that. The last picture is survey. Survey. Ask people some questions to get information about something, to get more ideas, more opinions about things, about movies, about programs, about hobbies, about sports, about anything. So we need to get information, but by doing a survey. Okay, so let's move on. Now it's time to open your book, course book, page 168, exercise number 5. Here I have a survey. It's talking about 4 hours of free time. We said before, if you have 4 hours as a free time, what can you do? And you give me before many ideas. I can watch television, cook some food, play computer games, visit my friend, help my mom, something like that. So, what's this survey tell us about? So, let's read about these people. How do young people really spend their free time? Watching TV, riding a bike, doing extra homework. In a recent survey, we asked 1,000 young people. Can you see the number? 1,000 young people like you to tell us exactly what they do when they have 4 hours of free time. So let's discover the 1,000 people, young people, what did they say about having 4 hours of free time? Let's have a look. Taking it easy. Most of the people we interviewed, over 90%, used the word relaxing in their answers. See, over 90 say relaxing. If you have free time, 4 hours as free time, what can you do? Relaxing. Okay, let's complete. Around a quarter of the interviewees play computer games. A quarter. A quarter. A quarter, it's a fraction, means 25%. 25% play computer games. And over half is also a fraction, equals 50%, half. Relax by reading books, magazines, or comics. Watching TV and using the internet were very popular. Famous, popular means famous, well known choices. Nearly 3/4 of interviewees, 3/4, it means that 75% chose TV, and over 80% chose the internet as their favorite ways to spend free time. So in this survey, he talked about relaxing, computer games, reading books, magazines, and comics, watching TV, internet. So let's move on and have a look to the rest of the survey. Other ways of spending free time. Over 95% of the interviewees chose more than one activity, and some of their other choices are very interesting. Nearly 10% selected gardening. Gardening. 10% for gardening. Gardening means planting flowers, trees, watering the park, something like that, as one of their top activities, and 19%, nearly a fifth, chose sewing. Baking is also a very popular activity. Around a third of the young people we interviewed chose making cakes as a great way to spend free time. We are not sure how much time they spent eating them, but we don't think that will take too long. This is about the young people, 1,000 young people who said their opinions about having 4 hours of free time. After reading this survey, we need now to say if these sentences are true or false, right or wrong. So T for true, F for false. Number 1. All of the interviewees used the word relaxing in their answers. All of them say relaxing. Of course not. What's the correct answer? Can you correct this one? All of them? No, not all. Most of them. Most of the interviewees. Okay? Number 2, most chose playing computer games. False. What's the correct answer? Around a quarter chose playing computer games. 3, most chose watching TV or using the internet. Yes, correct. 4, nearly all chose more than one activity. Yes. 5, over a quarter chose gardening. False. What's the correct answer here? Nearly 10% chose gardening. The last one, more than a quarter chose baking. Yes, it's correct. Now here I have another exercise. He asked you here to rewrite the sentences by changing the percentages to fractions and the fractions to percentages. Number 1 is already done. You have here over 90%. 90%, this is percentage. We need to change it into fraction. So the answer here will be over 9/10. 9/10. Like that we can write it, fraction. Included the word relaxing in their answers. Now here can you see the underlined fractions and percentages? If you see a fraction, change it into percentage. If you see a percentage, change it into a fraction. Number 2, around a quarter of the interviewees play computer games and over half relax by reading books, magazines, or comics. Quarter. Is it a fraction or is it a percentage? Yes, good. It's a fraction. So we need to change it into percentage. Quarter, it means that, or equals, yes, 25%. This one in red, you can see it. What about half? Half is also a fraction. We need to change it into percentage. Half. Half equals 50%. Well done, guys. Number 3. Nearly 3/4 of interviewees chose TV. 3/4 here, it's also a fraction. So we need to change it into percentage. So what's the percentage of 3/4? Yes, perfect, 75%. Number 4, over 80% chose the internet. 80%. So this is percentage. We need to change this one into fraction. What's the fraction which equals 80%? 4/5. Well done. 5. Nearly 10% selected gardening as one of their top activities. 10% here is a percentage. So let's change it into fraction. Fraction, it will be 1/10. Yes, 1/10. 6. Around a third of the young people we interviewed chose making cakes. A third. A third. This is a fraction. Let's change it into percentage. Yes, it will be 33.3%. Okay, so in this exercise, we changed the percentages into fractions and from fractions into percentages. Let's move on. Do you remember this activity? We started our lesson by writing the symbols and the fractions and the percentages in words. And how can we say them? I need you to choose any one from these percentages or these fractions. 25%, a third, 60%, 4/5, 2/3, 95%, 3/4, a tenth. We need now to choose any from these words or fractions or percentages. Why? These sentences. So you have to look at these circles, these pie charts, and complete these sentences from the previous activity. Number one here, for the black color, you can see the black color in pie chart 1. To complete number 1. I spent about, look at the black color here for pie chart 1. 75, yes, 75% of my free time watching TV. Now let's have a look to pie chart 2. It's here, less. So I usually spend of my leisure time doing things that I really want to do. Leisure time, it means that free time. So what's the missing word here? Exactly, less than half. Less than half. Number 3, look at the black color here. Many people spend of their lives sleeping. Just over a third. Yes. 4, look at the black section, black part. I always spend of my lunch break doing my exercises. Quarter, yes. See, it's just one part of the circle or the pie chart. Here, it's divided into two parts, two equal parts. That's why number 5, it usually takes about a day to get to my cousin's house. A half a day, okay? 6, my sister spends of her time studying for the circle 6. Oh my God, see the black color? So it will be what? Most. Well done. Most of her time studying. Perfect, girls. Thanks a lot, girls. See you later. Bye.